Welcome back to Talking Serpents. I'm sure you clicked on this video because you saw the title and the thumbnail, and you might be wondering, Talking Serpents used to be afraid of snakes? Yeah, I used to be afraid of snakes. I'm sure you're wondering why and when, and yeah, so I'm gonna answer the questions, and I'm sure you'll probably find it interesting. So I will show you. This is my yellow anaconda Eclipse. He's just having a good time crawling on me right now. So, where did this all come from? I was afraid of snakes? That seems crazy, like, especially if you know like the kind of, like the snakes that I have. Like I have anything from the longest constrictor in the world, anaconda, false water cobra, rattlesnakes, boa constrictor, and I'm so surrounded by snakes, and I love it. So why was I afraid of snakes? Well, I'm sure that this is very relatable, but I grew up in a family, we did not have reptiles. As far as I know, I am the only one who has reptiles, and well, I could say, I guess I'm a little more obsessed and knowledgeable about them. Like I said, I'm sure a lot of people can definitely relate. I grew up in a family that was fearful of snakes specifically my mom. My dad didn't seem to care so much, or so he said. My sister, terrified of them. She's still not 100% on board with snakes. That is why I was afraid as a kid. Second reason is, if you don't know me personally, I have a big background of building lots of jumps. I used to, well, I guess I still, still lots of jumps. I used to do a lot of BMX in the day when I was younger, and I still do like downhill mountain biking. And anyways, when I was a kid, I would go out there, well, we had this place called the Wetlands in Southern California where I grew up, and there's just acres and acres of land where you could build dirt jumps and hang out with your friends. It was awesome. It was fantastic. I couldn't ask for a better area to have a nice childhood. So we would go out there with our shovels and our friends, and we would build dirt jumps with our BMX bikes. And when you were all finished with your dirt jump, where would you put your shovel? Because normally we would just continue to build them. We'll come back in a couple days, a month, you don't know when. So we would take our shovels and we would just throw them into the bushes in a specific area. And then when we came back, we would go into the bushes, and usually tall grass or some really tall, thick bushes, and go fish out the shovel. So the area that we were at, which was the Huntington Beach Wetlands, there was an abundance of rattlesnakes there, and we knew it because obviously we were local. And I remember my mom always, "Don't get bit by rattlesnakes, and if you do, just make sure you go straight to the hospital." Like, I think back then, like between either me and my friends or my mom, I can't remember, but I remember like someone saying that we had about an hour to live, and that's not true about rattlesnakes. But nevertheless, lots of fear put into snakes, and especially rattlesnakes specifically. So yeah, we would throw our shovels in the brush, and then we would go get them. And there was a few times that I can distinctly remember where we would go in, and I remember it was me, my really good friend, and some other person we were there with. We went and grabbed our shovels, and the lead person went in to go grab the shovels, and then saw that there was like a handful of baby Western Diamondback rattlesnakes, and yeah, he managed to get the shovels. And then my friend that was in front of me, he saw one of the adult rattlesnakes, and obviously he's just freaking out and freezing, or just kind of like going robot mode, trying not to step on anything. Trying to get back to the main trail. And I remember, since I was all the way in the back, I hadn't even gotten to the shovels yet, I just turned around. I was just going to go back to my bike when I was closer to the trail, and I was probably like 5 or 10 feet away from and another adult rattlesnake was in the same set of bushes. And yeah, I was freaked out. I hardly knew anything about rattlesnakes. I knew just about nothing when it came to snakes as well. So I was full of fear on that. Hearing a rattle would make my skin crawl. And yeah, it just freaked me out. And here we are, many years later, and I have a home that is filled with all different kinds of snakes, even rattlesnakes, even a western diamondback rattlesnake. The irony is just, it is way up there. It's all the way to the ceiling. And I'm very happy. I could not be happier handling my western diamondback rattlesnake. Well, enough talk. Let's go, and I'm gonna put this little lady away, and then we will go and see my albino western diamondback rattlesnake in the next room. In here, on the top enclosure, I have an albino western diamondback rattlesnake, and in this lower enclosure, I have a blue speckled rattlesnake. Obviously, for this video, I'm going to be taking out my western diamondback rattlesnake, because that's, I would say that's definitely pretty relevant for this video. So you might be wondering, how do you go from being afraid of snakes, specifically rattlesnakes, having one yourself? It's in your house. You're excited to like handle it when you can. That's quite a bit of a jump from, you know, being scared to loving to work with them. And the answer is, well, the best way I could explain it is, like I always say, the opposite of fear is knowledge, and that could mean that's so many different aspects in life that will fall under that category. If you're scared of something and you have some kind of fear or phobia, well, research it. It could be spiders, it could be public speaking, etc., etc. Just figure out the psychology of it. Learn about what makes the specific task or whatever whatever makes you afraid. Why does it make you afraid? And you might be able to conquer your fear. That's how I've gotten through so many different situations in life, and it's excellent. I really implore anybody else who has a specific fear, and obviously that fear might be of snakes, and all I have to say is do research, and you might find something you actually might really like. Maybe not a rattlesnake. Well, my little rattlesnake decided to retreat into his little cave. Oh, so there's another story of another reason why when I was in my younger years that I was afraid of another western diamondback rattlesnake. Once again, we were in the wetlands where all the dirt jumps were, and once again we were finding our shovels that were in the deep brush, and we were with another friend today, and this friend had put his shovel in a hollowed out fallen tree. It was like a log, and he went to go retrieve his shovel, and luckily he had some BMX gloves on, and he went to go grab the shovel inside this hollowed out log, this dead tree, and all of a sudden he got tagged in the hand, like in the finger, and he pulled his glove off and saw that he had not been bitten, only got bit in the glove. There was slack in the glove because they were not a really tight fit. So that is so excellent for him, because that would not have been great for his finger. Rattlesnakes have hemotoxins in their venom, and he would most likely suffer from necrosis, and very expensive. If you don't have health insurance, it could be, I think, upwards of $100,000 if you do get bit by a rattlesnake, and yeah, he was very lucky not to get bit directly, on the finger. He got bit on the glove. So what a close call, and it definitely makes for a crazy story. Wow, look how fantastic he looks. He is so amazing to have in my life. I would be very bummed out if I all of a sudden could not have rattlesnakes. They are way too cool. So if you ever see these guys in the wild, don't try and kill it. That's usually when people get bit by inexperienced people that do not know what they're doing. You are not helping anybody else around you. Rattlesnakes are part of an ecosystem. If you don't know what an ecosystem is, please research that. These animals have their place in the world. You may not understand what it is, but if you understand ecosystem, then you surely do. So please do leave them alone. They want nothing to do with us except to just thrive on their own. Well, I'm sure this guy's had enough. Time to put him back. One of the things I haven't mentioned in this video yet, maybe you've noticed it, I am wearing my venomous t-shirt. I thought it was more than appropriate for this video. It has all different kinds of venomous snakes all over it. It's definitely one of my favorites. And yeah, it was more than appropriate for this video. So, if you are interested in a t-shirt, I do have them on my website, talkingserpents.com. I have them in all different sizes, all sorts of colors, men's, women's, and youth sizes. You name it, I got it covered. So if you're interested, they are on the website talkingserpents.com, and there's also a link down in the description of this video. Well, I hope you really enjoyed the video. Possibly you might have learned something on how to conquer your fears, maybe how to step forward in life. I know I use that all the time. I'm afraid, then I move forward to learning more about it, and that could go into so many different aspects of life. So if you like the video, strike that like button. If you have any comments, please post in the comment section below. I want to hear your stories. If you want to share your phobia that you have or had, I'm sure it has to be a good story. It seems that everybody has some kind of phobia, and the stories that come with it are usually pretty good. So if you want to share, put it in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.